We are missing Keith tonight, so we will have a distinct lack of science.
Well, whatever you say, I'm just going to bully you.
Shut up.
What do you guys say?
Shut up, Dave.
Wouldn't packing the box be a more relevant topic if size matters?
Oh, thank goodness my life didn't end up like that.
I think I just pissed a urine popsicle. Issue?
You better redneckicize or something.
Hello, welcome to the episode 6 of the DBLBACK Podcast. Hopefully by now you've discovered DBLBACK is your news and entertainment cooperative. Think of what we do here as, on the podcast, just a couple guys at your local watering hole sitting in the booth right next to you, speaking at a totally reasonable volume, of course. And you get a chance to just listen in on our conversation. A little bit of a time for us to catch up with one another, see if there's things we've rediscovered over the past week or two. I'm Brent, your host for the podcast, co-founder / editor. Joining to me a robust contingent of various grooming, etiquette-oriented gentlemen. Go ahead and start here with a terrible introduction. And Dave, you there?
Hey, this is Dave, editor-in-chief of the DBLBACK Podcast, and my NFL draft boner has just subsided, possibly 15 or 20 seconds ago.
Ryan?
Hey, Brent, Ryan here. I think I'm the grooming part of what you're talking about. I'm not, or lack of grooming. I'm bearded.
No, it's just my own commentary on how terrible my beard looks and how lovely yours and Topher's does. But welcome, Ryan. And Topher.
Hey, Brent, it's Topher. I'm DBLBACK's resident raconteur and your favorite rapper's favorite blogger.
Awesome. Welcome, Dave. And I think there's medical reason to give question as to whether or not your boner should have subsided earlier than now. But I'm glad you're here and clearly breathing.
My NFL draft boner, let's be clear.
No, I'm pretty sure there's medical concerns whenever any boner is erect for too long. But I digress. So what's going on? Any new discoveries this week or things that we definitely need to get on the air here?
Are we really not going to address Dave's NFL draft boner? Because that seemed serious. That kind of sounded like a cry for help.
I would tend to agree. I mean, it's been a while since I read the fine print on the NFL draft to see exactly what sort of warnings come there. Roger Goodell hasn't specifically addressed this with me, so I don't know if my NFL boner isn't a concern and Dave's is, and if that should be something I should berate Dave for the rest of his life because his NFL boner gets warnings. And what do we think here?
I just want to go on record and let you know that the Ginger Hammer has not contacted me as of yet. I mean, he hasn't heard this podcast yet, but
you're going to be suspended for the first 4 games.
Well, if I have a second infraction, I might be suspended for the whole year. Which, by the way, I wanted to just bring it out there that it doesn't even have to be mid-NFL season for me to get screwed fantasy football-wise. I'm in a keeper league that I've been in for the last 7 years, and I happen to have Josh Gordon, who I drafted in the 9th round last year. Fantastic pick. He led me through the whole year and got me into the playoffs. And lo and behold, on the second day of the NFL draft, my favorite day of the NFL year, news dropped that he was going to be suspended for the whole year and fuck me fantasy-wise.
You sound like a Bears fan, just constantly tormented by the NFL, and it's just parlayed into fantasy football. And like, I'm a Bears fan, but I still just get effed sometime during the season because you root for the Bears. So sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean that's exactly what happened. We had a great first day of the draft. Then we had a pretty good second day of the draft. I felt pretty good as the draft wrapped up on Friday. And then I had to remember that my stud fantasy wide receiver, Josh Gordon, decided to get popped for weed, of all things, for the second time. Can we all just agree that NFL players and NBA players, and even baseball players if they want, should just be able to smoke all of the weed? So let's just let them do it.
Toronto politicians, yeah, the list goes on and on. Why can't they smoke the ganj?
Performance enhancing. This is the thing that I keep getting stuck on. How is it performance enhancing? Like, if you're stoned all the time, then chances are you're probably not sticking to your team mandated, training tables regimen. And instead, maybe you're eating, I don't know, an entire box of Frosted Flakes at 4:30 in the morning, Friday night. To me, that seems like a performance, de-enhancing drug if you're stoned all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not a weed smoker, but it's been proven that THC can reduce the size of tumors. I can only imagine it does good things for concussions. I really feel like the NFL needs to jump on the pro-weed bandwagon.
There's actually like a legit point to be made here, and I saw it on Twitter. For as many suspensions as have come down because of weed specifically, and yet they make this push for safety and long-term health of players, why aren't they researching medical marijuana as a genuine opportunity to help players cope with the pain that they endure because they're all gigantic humans mashing into each other at unfounded speeds?
Absolutely.
So what you're saying is that they can kill all their brain cells so there's less to disrupt? Is that what you're saying? Like, so they just smoke and just get dumb?
Yes.
And then
concussions aren't a problem anymore.
And then they'll be like, and then they will fuck up their brains and they'll be like, no, NFL, it's cool, man.
No, yeah.
We're going to have a sit-in, man.
Hey, man, I'm on the Players Union, and I just want to, hang out with you, Roger Goodell, man. It's cool, dude. We'll grab some Funyuns. It'll be cool, dude.
Pretty much. As long as you're smart enough to avoid the one weed test a year that they give you in the off season
that you know is coming.
Right, that they tell you when it's scheduled to happen, you should be able to avoid this.
It's astonishing, and I, take everything that has been said about how the NFL actually tests with a little bit of a grain of salt, but it sounds like it's almost nearly impossible to get popped, and yet it's incredible how many players year in year out do. It's astonishing to me. I don't know. If I had multiple $1 million on the line every single year, and I was like, oh, I can't get stoned for literally 8 days, I think I could probably hold off. I don't know. That's just me, but I feel like I could probably make that commitment to several $1 million.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is stunning. I've never smoked weed in my life, and I've heard it's not an addictive substance, but yet that seems to be, it's like a moron target for the people that want to decide to blow millions of dollars in salary. So I don't understand why, to your point, they can't just block off red X on every day of those 2 weeks on the calendar.
Nope.
Not gonna bust out the bong, but then I'll just grab it again.
Literally the minute in the parking lot afterwards, you can light up.
Yep.
Or, if you can't do that, at least go I can't remember the name of the Minnesota Viking that got caught with the Whizzinator. Do you remember that story? Where he...
Yeah.
That movie?
Yeah, he taped a fake dong.
Yeah.
And tried to pee that way?
Or was it Any Given Sunday?
Yes.
Well, there was that, but then there was also a guy in real life that did this. Ontario Smith?
Yes.
I think that's right.
I don't know. Let's just blame him for it, even if it's not.
You can't just go in there knowing you're going to lose like Josh Gordon. You got to at least give yourself a fair shot.
A fighting chance with a fake dick.
That sounds like a terrible porno.
So yes, NFL players who get busted for the ganj are dumb.
And you shouldn't draft them you should never touch a guy that came into the league with issues, especially in a dynasty league. And I think at the end of the day, we can blame you a little bit, Dave.
Well, I went 9th round pick in order to say, you know what, I'm not gonna waste it right up front. He's got his 4-game suspension, but
the cost was there, the value was there. I get it. I get it.
But now I got burned. My gamble didn't pay off.
No.
Ugh.
Ugh.
But let's talk about this, though, guys. If you guys are saying that you want to change the rules so that they can smoke weed,
Yes.
are we going to then have... So we're going to pay these guys millions of dollars and put them above the law?
No, we're just going to make weed legal because that's the only logical solution.
I feel like it's pretty smart. I mean, the two teams that played in the Super Bowl last year lived in weed legal cities.
And so we use that statistic only
Yep.
to build our entire case.
So far, so good.
This Venn diagram makes sense.
It holds up in court.
It's science.
I mean, the Broncos showed up still into the Super Bowl at least.
Did we comment on the fact that Peyton Manning just invested in Papa John's?
What did Peyton Manning do? Just take all of the money that Papa John has paid him over the last 10 years and just gave it right back and got his money in stock options?
I make the assumption that Papa John's actually brings him cash inside a pizza box. That's how the handoff happens.
And a cup of garlic sauce.
He gets an order of wings, some breadsticks, and then, $50,000.
Piles of cash.
If you guys could choose one restaurant chain to be the sponsor for and you get like a free lifetime card, what would your restaurant be? Brent, go. Can I just say that I asked that question so that I could just say Arby's? Arby's.
Okay.
I would choose Arby's. I asked it. I set up that whole thing just so I could go
Just so we get
Arby's.
here.
Yeah, mine would be definitely something Mexican. Like, I can't say no to Mexican food. No matter what time of day, what state my stomach is in, it's all Mexican all the time. That's what my belt hates and my tummy loves.
I was thinking Chipotle, just because I've never been like, I don't want a Chipotle burrito right now.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
No, go ahead.
No, now you have to go.
Yeah.
Well, so now they have all, the responsibly raised food and, it's all love Earth and everything. But back in the day, like
They try.
sophomore year of college, I was interning or looking for internships, and I had an interview with the factory that made the Chipotle meat, and I got an education.
Are you going to ruin Chipotle for me?
Well, it's all different now, but yeah,
Oh my God.
just long story short, I didn't eat Chipotle for 3 years. And then Willie brought me back.
It's responsibly raised, though, right?
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, Willie Nelson brought me back. That's all it took.
Oh, there we go.
Just took Willie. What can
So-
Willie Nelson do? God.
So I'll put an actual franchise on it because that was the actual question you asked, Dave. Qdoba would be where I would choose for the exact reason I said before, and because Chipotle has significantly fewer options, which just makes me angry every time I only see Chipotles and can never find Qdobas.
But it's so much better than Qdoba.
Is it
Yeah.
Qdoba or is it Qdabo?
It's definitely Qdoba.
Oh.
I'm sure it's Qdoba.
Quality
Yeah,
of product versus quantity of options. I'd much rather have one good burrito than 18 shitty things.
Yeah, or just consistency of all the restaurants all around the world.
That's also true.
Chipotle is very consistent, and Qdobo is more like restaurant is the airport food.
Quizdobas.
Speaking of, we have a new sponsor of the Doubleback Podcast to announce. It's the Quidiblos burrito franchise. And
We
thank
got
you,
your
Quidiblo.
burritos, Qdobitas.
Better every time.
Guys, I know I was very confident about Arby's earlier, but I'm going to change my answer. I was really confident and really excited about Arby's.
You asked the question.
Sorry. Yes,
The
specifically
answer
to say
to
Arby's.
change
I
the
know.
answer.
I know. I'm changing it now. I thought about it for a little while.
Wait, no, we had a consensus here. Don't
I'm
do
sorry.
this, Dave.
No. Well, no, I'm with you, Chipotle over Qdoba, but I'm changing my answer from Arby's to Pei Wei, which is like the Chipotle version of P.F. Chang's. It's very good. It's very, very good. Way better than Panda Express.
Why have you never
Not
taken
that
me
much.
there on a lunch date, Dave?
Because I sometimes I just think that I'll go and you'll creepily show up as I'm mid-meal, like you did on Thursday.
You were blessed by my presence.
So here's the background, guys, for this one. I'm sitting there eating lunch, reading, minding my own business. I go out alone and recharge my batteries. Sure enough, Brent walks up and goes, "Hey, is this seat taken?" And just sits the fuck down. I mean, our offices are like within a quarter mile from each other, so it had to happen eventually. No, it's consistency. Every time I go, it's the exact same thing. And whereas when you go to like a Panda Express, you get low cost, but also you don't get a whole ton of meat, and you don't know how long it's been sitting there. When you go to Payware, you get big fat chunks of chicken in your kung pao, and they cook it up. Each individual order is made to order, so it's not just sitting there under like a hot lamp.
Quindiblo's is absolutely the best option for me to get sponsoring and have a card that will give me free burritinos.
Quindiblo's has that sticker on it that says, "This queso doesn't have piss in it." That's what I love.
Seriously, one of us needs to get a law degree stat. Okay, we still have yet to hear Topher's answer to this, and he's had the luxury of time in a way that none of the rest of us have. So,
to be fair, I had my answer as soon as the question was posed. It's Payless Liquors.
Payless Liquors?
Yeah.
Fair.
It's the most simple option possible.
Is that where
because of the jerky?
Yeah, you can get corn nuts or sunflower seeds or jerky, and also, liquor.
Maybe that's the best answer. Maybe gas station is the best answer. You get gas and corn nuts and liquor?
No, Wawa. I know you guys over there in Chicago don't know about this, but Wawa
is the
very legit, and I could honestly see myself eating there every day. In fact, there were times where I did.
What the fuck is a Wawa?
Yeah, Wawa is actually the best answer.
It's a gas station, but it's not. It's a convenience store, but it's not. It eliminates you speaking to humans, but also ordering your meals how you like it. So you click up a couple buttons on the screen, it comes out in a few minutes, humans make it in front of you. As soon as you pay for it with a ticket that you receive from the machine, they call your number, you eat your food, you get your gas, you use their nice clean bathrooms, and you're on your way again.
You've convinced me. I really, that's what I love in my lunch hours, as little communication with humans as possible.
Which is why I show up and ruin things.
I want to hear Dave, truthfully go 300 on Ben Affleck being Batman.
Great topic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Here I am, guys. Get ready. Maybe you guys should take a piss and get a beer.
This is going to go on for about 25 minutes.
He's warming up. He's loosening up.
Now I'll keep it pretty short, but I'm really excited by it. I think that Ben Affleck as an older Batman who's been Batman for a little while, where we don't have to tell an origin story, we don't have to show how he got his Batman skills, show how he got his Batmobile, show how he got his Batarangs. I feel like a guy who just is Batman, we're ready for that. We can just accept that this guy is Batman. He's been Batman for a while. And I'm going to set the world record for how many times I could say Batman.
Batman? Also?
Yeah, Batman. Batman. But I think we're ready for that. Also, I think that an older, wiser Batman can rectify some of the mistakes of the Man of Steel movie. That movie, from a comic book fan's perspective, was not the greatest. Superman killed a guy, spoilers, at the end of it, and Superman doesn't typically do that. Also, in the climactic battle scene that lasted for 45 minutes because Zack Snyder has CGI budgets, that's the only reason why it happened. There were probably 50,000 human casualties? 40, 50,000? Superman typically doesn't stand for that bullshit either. So I think having the premise for a movie that could work is Batman comes over to Metropolis and says, "Hey, youngster, this isn't how we do things," and teaches him how to be a better man, how to be a better guy, how to be a better superhero. And I like Affleck as an actor. I think that he definitely has the Bruce Wayne down pat. You can definitely get Affleck to play a wealthy, arrogant, cocky douche, which is what Bruce Wayne is supposed to be. And he definitely looks like he's in the physical shape that a 45-year-old needs to be if he's going to play Batman, based on the suit. So
the suit that has veins.
yeah, I mean that's what I think about Affleck. I think he. No. I mean all of the things up to and including the word veins.
Okay.
Is what I think about him specifically. I think he got a bad rap right off the bat because he was in a shitty Daredevil movie and he dated Jennifer Lopez for a really long time. So the guy gets a bad rap, but he co-wrote my favorite movie of all time, won an Oscar for it, and has spent the last 8 years directing and acting in some of the best movies that have come out in the last 8 years. I feel like he should be given the benefit of the doubt until he fucks it up. It could go either way, but what I wrote on the site is that I'm really happy that he looks the way he looks because it means somebody over there in the production, most likely the director, has read the source material that it comes from, and it's a couple of the best Batman stories that are out there.
Has read Frank Miller.
Exactly. That's all you need to do if you want to make a good Batman movie because he's the guy who redefined the character after everybody, had Adam West stuck in their head for 20 years after that 66 Batman show. So he was the guy who redefined him and made him into what we all know him as from the Nolan trilogy. All that comes from Miller. I still think that Year One and Dark Knight are the best first Batman story and the best Batman story, and they were both told by the same guy.
So on this topic, if you were going to give someone perhaps new to reading Batman your top 3 books they should double back on, what would those 3 be?
We've already mentioned all 3. Batman Year One, Dark Knight Returns, those are both by Frank Miller, and you mentioned The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke is my 3rd favorite. But if you were going to go a top 5, and
I'll
you
give
really
you 5.
like,
You greedy son of a bitch.
Yeah, if you really like team books, you could read. There was a mini-series in Justice League of America called Tower of Babel, and the whole story is based upon Batman has contingency plans for everyone. If Superman goes bad, if Wonder Woman goes bad, if the Flash goes bad, Batman has a plan to take them all down, and that's the story of how those plans fall into the wrong hands. And if I had to choose a number 5, I'm gonna pick the new stuff in the New 52 by Scott Snyder, not Zack Snyder, but Scott Snyder. They gave the Bat franchise
crucial difference.
They gave the Bat franchise to the wrong Snyder. But Scott Snyder and an artist named Greg Capullo who did Spawn, their run on Batman right now is insane. It's really, really good.
I think the only one that's in there that wasn't listed was probably Nightfall. Which obviously a lot of this last Batman was based upon with Bane, down to even specific panels with the broken back. I think that's also probably up there for me. For the most part, I really enjoyed them. I will say Christian Bale's Batman voice drives me absolutely fucking insane.
Where is the trigger?
Yeah.
Where is she? Cry. Where's Harvey Dent?
So like, oh my god. Please, like in the theater, the first time through, I honestly didn't notice. I was so enraptured by the story and everything else. I was like, that was awesome. And I think I either went back and saw it again, or the first time I saw it on DVD, I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? What is this fucking voice? Please, God, stop it. No.
I suffer from voice modulation, Tina.
Because the rest of the movies, I think, are really, pitch perfect, and that fucking horrible Batman voice kills it for me.
I think you're totally right. The one thing we don't need to see just yet is an older and beleaguered, beat up Batman. What we do need to see is a Batman who's on top of his game. We need to see Bat God, like the guy he is in the comics, that he has an answer for everything. He's smarter than everybody. He's on top of his shit. And as a supporting character, he can totally be that in this movie. That's not interesting when you're the main character. That's why they had to give Christian Bale flaws and make him, make it so that he couldn't handle absolutely everything all at once. Sure. Because that's not interesting when your main character is invincible. But when you're the supporting character in a movie, it is absolutely a thing that he can be. Absolutely a role that he can play is just the guy that knows absolutely everything and can beat absolutely anyone.
Right now we've got nerd all over everything. Do we want to talk about something else?
Testosterone Cast remix. I'm just kidding.
Do you guys still follow? It used to be the MTV Real World Road Rules Challenge. Now it's just called the Challenge.
That's still a
that
thing.
was my. I don't still follow it, but that was my shit in college.
Well, yeah.
We would watch it. We would watch every iteration of it, and we would drink as it was going on, and we would bet on the winners. And my man was Alton. I don't know if Alton is still around.
He was like in Vegas, right?
Yeah, he was invincible. That guy was a beast.
So the challenge is back, and it's probably the best season ever. And you could probably, Dave, if you want to talk about like your fantasy drafts where you go season to season, a lot of the guys are back. They use this veteran term a lot, so then any of the rookies that are on there just get shamefully bullied nonstop. But this season's more of just a complete mindfuck where it's normally a team game, and then at the end, it's like a two-man deal, and they're the winners. But now they've got it as an individual game, so each time they roll and there's a challenge, they pick a team, or it's an individual challenge, and it just gets completely mind-fucked. And all of the actual challenges at the end where they go one-on-one to get kicked off have been extremely exciting, and like people are getting hurt, and it's awesome.
That's all I really want from those shows.
Ryan, do they all still fuck each other? I remember when we were when I was in college, they all fuck each other.
So the whole thing is like, they call it like they have showmances.
There you go.
Where they're there for however many weeks and they basically date for that time and then they never talk again. But yeah, it's just like a bunch of horny people. That's the whole premise of the real world in general, is you just put a bunch of attractive horny people together and just watch, give them alcohol. It's a lot more, I guess, I don't know, the stakes have been raised because it's more of an individual game now, so you can't trust anybody and you can't kick off anybody because they might come back to kick you off later, and it's really exciting. And what's great now is that they even include an extra 30 minutes where they have a number of the cast come on and just discuss the episode that just happened and kind of give you a preview of what's going to happen and what's still to come. And it's been fun because the last few seasons have been pretty good too, so there's a lot of these like actual grudge match rivalries, and they just continue to kind of throw gas on the flames, and there's a lot more fucking and all that kind of stuff too for Brent's sake.
That's awesome.
That's all Brent's here for.
Can you throw me a couple of like veteran names that I might recognize? Like is like CT still around?
Yeah, so CT is still around and not nearly like as jacked and awesome and like flamboyant as he was last time.
50
and
now.
then, like Frank is another one that's been on there a lot, or like Johnny Bananas.
What about like Anissa?
Anissa's still there. Like there's people that make a living off of it. You can tell.
Oh my God.
Because they obviously just, it's like a lifeline for them, right? They get on TV for a little bit longer than they get another year of just, getting $5,000 to do an appearance or whatever and drinking for free their whole life.
Celebrity
Exactly.
bartending.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome. I saw Trishelle at a Chicago hotel once, and it was not what I had hoped it would be.
It was as magical as you wanted it?
No, she was my favorite way back. I think she was Vegas too.
She was Vegas, yeah.
She had a pretty face. And she was my favorite way back in the day. Ran into her in real life, and it wasn't so great a dozen years later.
Well, yeah, so
I think
age didn't do her very well. I think that lifestyle kind of wore her out pretty quickly. She had some pretty high-profile dating trips, too, where she was, like, with some NFL players or something, and that chick is used up.
To be fair, so we're not being sexist, CT a little bit used up as well.
The fuck up.
And
Sorry.
And they
to cut
were
you
on
off
last season's challenge together, and I'm pretty sure CT used that up.
Again.
I've added nothing to the conversation because it's A, been a long-ass time since I've watched anything on MTV, and B, even longer since I watched any of the Road Rules, real-world stuff, because I think at a certain point it just made me angry to watch these people season after season, like never age, and like I was in the midst of losing all my hair and like aging a decade every year, and so I think it was just more of a shameful type of walking away with my head held low.
This is the way I rationalize it in my head, Brent, is that these people get paid to be attractive. Like Burns said, they get paid for an appearance. They get paid to go on this show and fuck other people who are remotely attractive. They get paid to do that in their real life. We can't be expected to live up to that.
So here's what I want to know. What do you guys got coming up this week? What are we looking forward to?
It's not this week, but I'm really looking forward to Interstellar from Christopher Nolan. They released that full trailer recently, and it looks really good. McConaughey looks great. There's a lot of space travel. It looks like Gravity with a plot. So I'm really pumped up about it. I loved Gravity from a visual standpoint, but if you really break it down, there was not a whole ton of plot in that movie. I think that Chris Nolan doing a non-Batman movie is something that intrigues me again. I loved Inception, and I loved...
Very cool. I just saw the trailer for that today, as a matter of fact, so I'm with you. There's so much to like about everything Nolan touches, so I sign me up for everything until he proves me wrong consistently. Anything else? Cool.
I'm now into whatever Dave said.
Well, I'm hoping to roll up all creepy on Dave, just creepily at restaurants and talk to you about how awesome the queso is at Qdoba. That's my plan
really here for
this week and every week, really, moving forward for the rest of my tragic life. Toph, you looking forward to any pervy third grade jokes this week, or what?
No, I think you took care of me. I'm satiated. I'm good. I'm good for another week now.
Yay! Well, awesome catching up with you guys as always. Can't devalue my time on the podcast, and I'm sure every single one of our listeners feels the exact same way. And they're going to tell us all about it when they hit us up on the normal spots. DBLBACK.com. That's DBLBACK. Hit us up on Twitter. Get us on Facebook. Like our stuff. Share stuff. Comment. Tell us what you want us to talk about on the next one, so we don't derail and talk about things that make your ears burn. Love you guys.
Bang your
Catch you
guns.
next time. Bang your guns.
Hey, Ryan, can you do me a favor and cut every time one of us said red recognize?